Hello, my dear students of class 12 commerce. In this session, we are going to start up a new chapter for accountancy. That is, the name of the chapter is Accounting for Share Capital. And if you are an NBSC student, that is Nagaland Board of School Education, then you can follow this chapter on your Part A textbook. On your Part A textbook, Accountancy, chapter number 7. Okay, so in your Part A textbook, Accountancy, chapter number 7, you can find this chapter. And if you are an NBSC student, then you get a practical question from this chapter in your final examination for 10 marks. You will get a practical question from this chapter in final examination for 10 marks, so I can say that this chapter carries a high weightage of marks. So this session is going to be an introductory session, and I should say that this chapter is a bit vast, so it will take us more time to cover this chapter. So in this session we are going to focus mostly on the meaning of shares. The term share is very common these days, and many of the people are investing on shares, but I feel like even many students are still unaware of this term shares. So we'll be discussing the meaning of shares, and then the types of shares, and issue of shares at par and at premium. So all these explanation will be done in this session. So let's start. Okay, so we have major form of business organization. There is three major form of business organization. The first one is sole proprietorship, which we have learned in class 11. So I'll just recap it. Sole proprietorship means there is only one owner, there is only one member. He is the one who invests all the capital. So he's the one who invests all the capital. So if the business is run by one member, then it's known as sole proprietorship. I'm not including the employees, I'm talking about the owner. Okay, so all the investment will be done by this person. When we come to partnership type of business organization, then partnership type of business organization, we can have more than two or more members. We can have two or more members. It means if we have only one member, it's sole proprietorship. If we have partnership means we need partners, right? If we have two or more means it can go till the limit of 50 maybe. So partnership is two or more members. That means all the contributions, that is investments, will be done by, if there is two partners, then all the investment will be done by the two partners. We need investment, we need capital to start a business, right? So all the capital contribution will be done by these two partners. If we have three partners, then the capital contribution will be done by three partners. So the next form of business organization is company. When we discuss about the large scale business organization, then mostly we talk about company. It's not that partnership cannot be a large scale business organization, and even sole proprietorship can also be a large scale business organization, but mostly when it comes to large scale business organizations, we discuss about company. So company is also a type of business organizations where we carry different types of businesses. In company we can have many members. So why do we have so many members in a company? We'll be discussing about that. And accounting for share capital comes under company accounts. That means it doesn't come under sole proprietorship and partnership, it comes under company, we can say company accounts. Okay, so let's discuss like why company have so many members and what is the meaning of shares. So let's say there is a person whose name is XYZ, and he is starting a company. And we all know that to run any form of business organization, whether it may be sole proprietorship, partnership, or company, the main thing that we need is capital, right? So we need capital to run any form of business organization. So even this XYZ is in need of capital, and he needs around 50 lakhs rupees as capital, but he doesn't have that much money with him. So what he did is that since he formed a company, then he have the right to raise money. Have the right to raise money, or we can say capital, from general public. If it was in the case of sole proprietorship and partnership, then if
the type of business organization, if they need money, what they do, either the owner itself will contribute the capital. If they are needing additional capital, then the owner or the partners will contribute the capital. Or what they can do is that they can raise, not raise, they can collect money from, they can take borrowings from bank and financial institution. But when it comes to company, a company can always raise capital. A company can always raise capital from general public as well, so this person is forming a company XYZ, let's say XYZ Limited, and he is in need of 50 lakh rupees. So he decided to raise capital from general public. But if he directly goes and asks 50 lakh from general public at one go, then I don't think there will be any person who will be willing to take the risk to invest 50 lakh rupees in a new company, because there's a risk factor, like you might not get the money back if they are not doing well, if the company is not doing well. So this person XYZ might not attract more investors if he just asks 50 lakhs from one person. Okay, so what he did is that this person XYZ, he divided this 50 lakh into smaller portion, to attract more investors, let's say he's dividing this 50 lakhs into 1 lakh portions. He's dividing this 50 lakhs into 1 lakh smaller portions, or we can say 1 lakh smaller parts, or 1 lakh smaller units. 1 lakh smaller parts or 1 lakh smaller units. Then this each unit or this portion or this part is known as share. Then this each part or this each unit is known as share, and the cost of this share will be how much? And the cost of this share will be, if we divide this 50 lakhs into 1 lakh smaller portions, then the cost of each portion which is share, is known as will be rupees 50. Now there will be more investors who will be ready to invest, because the price of the each portion or each share is low, right? Each share is low. And in how many shares they have divided this whole 50 lakhs? This whole 50 lakhs, which is the required capital, has been divided into how many shares? Has been divided into how many parts? Has been divided into 1 lakh parts, right? So we can say this whole 50 lakh, that is a required capital, has been divided into 1 lakh shares. And the price of each share is equal to rupees 50. Now let us know why this each unit is known as share. See, whenever a company is trying to raise capital from general public, then why will the general public invest in the company? Because the company is ready to pay them something, right? The company is ready to pay some return to the investor. So what happens is that a company when they raise money from the general public, then this whoever will purchase the share, they becomes a part of the owner, because we all know that whoever contributes the capital for a business organization, they are also known as owner of the company. So when this company raise capital from general public, then when general public purchase shares for those company, then the company is, we can say, they're liable to pay a certain percentage out of the profit. That means they are going to share the profit. This company is going to share the profit among the investors. Those who are investing through shares, this company is going to pay them some percentage out of the profit, because without giving the return, none of the general publics is going to invest money, right? Because we need return. We are not going to give money for free. So these portions are known as shares. The part of the capital are known as shares, because the company are sharing a portion of the profit, and those who are purchasing the shares are also known as the owners of the company, because they are contributing something to the capital. So let's take one more example with the help of this example itself. Let's say there is one person whose name is Rahul, and now he wants to invest in this company XYZ Limited. So he is purchasing, let's say he's purchasing 10,000 shares. He's purchasing 10,000 shares out of the 1 lakh shares, because the whole 50 lakh has been divided into 1 lakh shares, right? So he's purchasing 10,000 shares, and the cost of each share is known as, the cost of each share is not known as, the cost of each share is rupees 50, right? So if Rahul is investing 10,000, purchasing 10,000 shares, then he is investing how many rupees? He's investing an amount of 5 lakh rupees. He's investing an amount of 5 lakh rupees. That means Rahul is also one of the owner of this company, and he's holding the capital, he's contributing capital of rupees 5 lakh. So he will be getting a certain percentage of the profit as per his capital contribution. So if the company makes profit, he will be getting certain percentage of the profit as per his capital contribution. So even there will be more person, let's say there is Ram, who is also interested in investing in this company. He is purchasing, let's say he's purchasing 20,000 shares, then he will be investing how many rupees? 20,000 into 50 is equal to 5 to the 10, and he will be investing 10 lakhs rupees, right? He will be investing 10 lakhs rupees, and even Ram will become the owner of this company because he's contributing something to the capital, and he will be also getting some percentage of the profit. So let's summarize. Let's say there is one company who is in need of 1 crore rupees, and since he will not get any investor if we directly ask 1 crore from one person, so what he is doing, he is dividing this 1 crore into smaller parts, into 1 lakh smaller parts. He's dividing 1 crore into 1 lakh smaller parts. Then each part is known as, share, and the cost of each share will be equal to 1 crore divided by 1 lakh will be equal to 100 rupees. Then the cost of each share will be rupees 100. So any general public can purchase the share of this company as much as he wants. And how many shares this company is issuing? The company is issuing 1 lakh shares, because the whole capital has been divided into 1 lakh smaller portions. So the company is issuing 1 lakh shares. Now if one person, let's say if one person Prakash, if he's purchasing, let's say he's purchasing 20,000 shares, if he's purchasing 20,000 shares, then he's contributing something to the capital, so he will be getting some return. From the company. It may be some percentage of the profit. So the return that we get from the company is also known as dividend. Please remember this term. The return that we get from shares, the return that we get by investing shares is known as dividend. The term that we use is known as dividend, okay, into which the capital of the company is divided, and the capital of the company is divided. For example, if a company wants 1 lakh capital, then he will divide this capital into smaller parts, let's say 10,000 parts. Then the price of each unit is known as shares, and there will be a cost of shares, okay. So now next is the return received. On shares is known as dividend. Just now I've told you return received on shares is known as dividend, not interest, okay. The person who contribute money through shares are called shareholders. The amounts raised by the issue of share is known as share capital. The amount raised by the issue of shares is known as share capital. Share capital means, for example, let's say it's not that you have issued 10,000 shares. You have issued 10,000 shares in the market. Doesn't mean that everyone will purchase all the shares, right? So whatever amount has been collected from the issue of shares, that amount will be known as share capital, okay. Next we have the two types of shares. Now we'll go to topic types of shares. We have two types of shares. One is known as preference shares, one is known as equity shares. Preference shares is again subclassified, but will not go that much in detail as of now. Just we'll discuss the important points related to preference shares and equity shares, and try to learn the difference between these two type of shares. So preference shares receive dividend at fixed rate. That means if you are purchasing a preference share, then you will receive a dividend at fixed rate. For example, in the shares they have mentioned that they are going to provide a return of 10%. Then 10%, that means unless you hold that preference share, you'll be getting a return on 10% of the profit. Equity shares is rate of dividend varies because it depends upon the decision of the board of directors. There used to be a board of directors in a company, then they used to decide according to the profitability of the company. They used to decide like how much rate of dividend should be provided to equity shares. So that's why rate of dividend in equity shares varies from year to year. Receives dividend before any dividend is paid to equity shareholders. See, we have the word preference out here, right? Preference.
So preference shareholders will receive dividend before paying to equity shareholder. That is, out of the profit, some percentage will be paid to the preference shareholders. After that, only the remaining amount will be paid to equity shares. Do not have any voting rights. And preference shareholders do not have any voting rights, but equity shareholders, they do enjoy voting rights. The last point is arrears of dividend may accumulate. That is, see, we all know that the return on shares it depends upon the profitability of the company. If the company makes good amount of profit, then they will get good returns from the company. If the company doesn't make good amount of profit, then the shareholders might not get good amount of return. But when it comes to preference shareholders, let's say preference shareholders, they have mentioned that 10% return will be provided. 10% return will be provided annually per annum to preference shareholders. So let's say in a year, the company could not provide the dividend due to some reason. Maybe they haven't made that much profit, so the preference shareholders didn't receive dividend for that year, but that dividend will be carried forward to next year. That means next year they might get the return of dividend which they haven't got for the previous year. So arrears of dividend may accumulate. We have the word may. That means in all conditions, it's not that in all conditions the arrears of dividend will accumulate, but it may accumulate in some conditions for preference shareholders. So I hope now you are clear with this point. It means if they haven't received dividend for that particular year, then that dividend can be accumulated in the next year. That means during next year, when they receive the dividend for that year, they might get the dividend of the previous year as well, along with that with that present year. But when it comes to equity shareholders, arrears of dividend cannot accumulate in any case. Okay, so if the company is not making profit, or if the board of directors have decided not to give dividend for that year, then in the next year they are not going to receive the dividend which they haven't received in the previous year. So if they are not receiving any dividend in that year, that means even in next year they are not going to receive that dividend. Okay, so preference shares, they might receive. Equity shares, the dividend, if they are not receiving dividend, that dividend will not be accumulated for the next year. Okay, so the last topic that we are going to discuss today is issue of shares. Issue of shares can be done in two conditions. This at discount, I'll discuss about it, but first let us go with at par and at premium. Okay, before that we need to know about the face value of share and market value of share. See, when you talk about face value of share, we also name this as nominal value of shares, refers to the original value of shares. For example, let's say a share, the value of one share is rupees 10. And in the market, the price of this share is rupees 18. In the market, the price of this share in the current situation is rupees 18. Then this rupees 10 is known as the face value, and this rupees 18 is known as the market value. That means face value refers to the original price of the shares, and we know that the price of the shares always fluctuates. Okay, the price of the shares fluctuates. That's why face value refers to the original price of the share, and market value refers to the price of the share in the current market condition. So when the shares are issued at par, that means at par means the face value of share is equal to the market value of share. For example, if the cost of one share is rupees 10, and even the company is asking rupees 10 from the public, then this condition is known as issue of shares at par, because the face value is equal to market value. Okay, when it comes to premium refers to when the market value is more than face value. That is, if the price of one share is rupees 10, but the company is charging rupees 15 from the public, then this condition is known as premium. That is, the public are paying more than the face value of the shares. And this condition is known as premium. Okay, share issued at premium. So company can issue shares at par. That means they can keep the price same as face value, or the company can also issue shares at premium. That means they can charge more than the face value of the shares, but company cannot issue shares at discount. Because as per Companies Act, the latest Companies Act, I forgot to tell you this in the beginning, the latest Companies Act, very important, that is going on as of now, is Companies Act 2013. So as per Companies Act 2013, shares cannot be issued at discount. The company cannot issue shares less than the value, face value of the share. That means if the face value of the share is rupees 10, then company cannot issue shares at rupees 9 to attract more customers, to attract more investors. So company cannot do that. In the previous act, as per the previous act, that is Companies Act, before Companies Act 2013, there was a Companies Act to 1956. In that, during as per that Companies Act to 1956, a company can issue shares at discount, but as of now, company cannot issue shares at discount except the issue of swayed equity share, except the issue of swayed equity shares. Swayed equity shares refers to those type of shares which are issued to employees, or directors. That is, direct employees or directors of the company. If the shares are issued to those person, then they can, in that condition, the company can issue share discount. That is, discount means when face value is more than market value. That means the company is issuing at less price. The price of the share is, let's say, 20 rupees, but they are issuing at rupees 18. So that is known as a discount. So discount cannot be issued for public, but for public they cannot issue shares at discount, but for employees and directors they can issue swayed equity shares at discount. So I hope you are clear with today's discussion. So today we have learned about meaning of shares. What does shares mean? Shares refers to the each unit. It refers to one of the units into which the capital of the company is divided. That means out of the capital of the company, if the company divides that capital into 1 lakh parts, that means each part is known as share. Okay, and we have also discussed about type of shares. We have two types of shares, preference shares and equity shares, and we have discussed about the difference between preference shares and equity shares. There are more differences between these two, but we have discussed the important ones. And then we have discussed issue of shares. That means shares can be issued at either at par or at premium. Okay, so again in next session we'll continue with more important terms before moving into the practical questions. Thank you.